So we want to put a 7.2.4 full Dolby Atmos system together. And as you guys can see, we've already done the first 7 speakers. As you can see, there are speakers on the floor, 1, 2, and 3. Those are 3 of our 7 main speakers. If we move around the room, there is also one on the wall there. There are our surround speakers on the back side wall there, and then there's a last surround side there. So those are our 7 speakers in our 7.2.4. Now 7.2.4 means 7 main speakers that we just discovered, 2 subwoofers, and 4 speakers above our head. As you can see on our main speakers, meaning our front 3, our main speakers, there are some speakers on top of speaker 1 and 3, front left and front right. These speakers here, these are the SVS Prime Elevation speakers meant to be used as Dolby Atmos speakers, but they can be used as regular bookshelves as well. We want to get these off of the towers and put them up in the air like we used to have in my previous orientation of my setup. There's another one here. So today we're going to put these up on the wall and on the ceiling and show you guys how to set them up. Now, because I had them up on a wall before, these are the brackets that we use on these particular speakers here. We need to get those down, and we're going to transfer them from that part of the ceiling to back there just behind my listening position, which is here. Here are my other 2 sets of Prime Elevations. Those will be going in the back since they're black. And then these will stay up front since they match the white Canton speakers that I have. So what we need to do first is get up here and get those brackets off, because they go to this set of speakers here, these set of speakers here. They also come with some really nice little, I guess you can call them brackets, that slide into the mount so that whenever you do hang them on the ceiling, they can't fall. I'll show you kind of how that works with one hand if I can. So here is the bracket, and let's imagine my speaker hanging here. When I slide this in, it locks the speaker in place. So when my neighbors are being annoying above me and they're stomping and running around, my speakers will never rattle free because they hang kind of like a screw wood or something like that there. You can see the little keyholes there, so they hang upside down. This locks them in place so that they can't come out. So we're gonna get these out of the ceiling and transfer them. Let's start off with the front 2 here, and we're going to put them up on the wall as high as we can, and we'll explain why we want to do that here in just a second. So here is our elevation speaker here from SVS, and no, they didn't come like this. It's a black grill on a white speaker. I swapped the grills on them because they come with white grills for white speakers, but to match my Canton speakers, I switched the grills. Let's turn it around and show you guys how to assemble these things. So if you haven't seen SVS Prime Elevation speakers before, they're really easy to assemble. They have a couple accessories with them. One being this bracket here that you're going to want to use to put on right here. You see this screw hole here. This can be used on a normal kind of stand or a mount or a wall hanger, whatever you want, but they have their own type of usage too. You're just going to put this inside here, and it rests right there on the lip of the speaker. It has a small screw with it that you can just screw right in. I didn't bring my screwdriver. I should grab one of those, but we get the point. So I'm going to screw that in here. I'll screw it tighter with the screwdriver, but now that's in place. And the reason why you have these here is because of the other accessory that I'll show you, which is that wall hanger or the ceiling hanger that you have. So let's say that you are hanging this on against the wall, so it's going to go this way, and you just lock it in place like that. And so that's how it hangs on your ceiling or on your wall. And then if you want to, let me grab that little, where'd it go? That little rubber piece I was showing you guys to lock them in place. You take this and you slide it in, and it locks it in. So now it cannot come off whatsoever. So if somebody is above you or it's a relatively heavy speaker above your head, you are rest assured that they can't come out of their holes at all. Now, placing these on the wall can be kind of tricky. If you look at where the brackets lay, the top of the speaker will reach the top of the ceiling before the brackets do. So I like to test fit and put the brackets on and then see how high I can go with the bracket here, and then you can draw some circles or some holes with a pencil, and you'll know where you need to drill your holes. Inside the box, they also come with some like a diagram, so you can mark your holes too, but I've moved these so many times that I kind of know where I want them and how high and tall the speaker is. So I can probably put it right about here, just above my screen, and the top of the speaker will be just short of the ceiling, which is perfect. So I'm gonna grab some pencil and my screws, and I'm gonna draw some holes, and then I'll drill in my screws there, and then we'll be done with speaker number 1. All right, we have the first Atmos speaker up, and just like K-Pace fashion, I have a little wire racetrack here to keep everything looking as clean as possible. And so we're good to go, nice and done, connected to my AVM70 preprocessor. So now I'm gonna repeat that process over there and off camera, and then we'll go to the ceiling mounting. So we have both speakers in place here, and when you're screwing anything relatively heavy into the wall, you want to find a stud to secure it to, so that when it does vibrate or when people above you do rattle your floor or your ceiling, that it doesn't rattle loose and fall off the wall. Now, if you can't find a stud, I do recommend getting these here. I can't remember what these are called, but these help secure the screw into the wall so that they can't fall out. So this is a good alternate if you can't find your studs in the wall, or maybe the speaker position you need, there is not a stud right there. So use these little bad boys right here. These will allow you, let me see if I can't zoom in on them or something. There we go. These will allow you to screw into the wall, and then as you screw the screw into this, these little teeth expand to keep it from falling out of the wall. So that is a perfect alternate to a stud. Now we want to move to the ceiling, and this is going to be a little bit harder. The placement of these makes it has to be in a particular way. And so for me, how I want to go about this is I want to place these just a little bit wider than my listening position. I sit directly in the middle when I'm watching. And so when I am watching, I want my speakers to be just a little bit outside of my middle position so that the whole couch gets the experience and I can tell a difference between left and right Dolby Atmos. So I'm gonna do it just a little bit behind my seat, and maybe towards the edge of the seats, maybe or maybe the middle of each seat here. What I mean by that is, if I'm sitting here in the middle, I'm probably gonna put my speaker here and speaker here, probably that far wide, so that I can tell an audible difference from left and right, and I'm gonna place them just behind my listening position so they still come from a little bit more behind me or more above my head when I'm sitting on the back of the seat back there. The reason I want to place my speakers behind me slightly is because of the angle of the Dolby Atmos speakers. They are made to be angled downward, and it'll sit something like this. So here is the tweeter at the top and the mid-range towards the bottom. If they're sitting on the ceiling, you can see that they have an angle to them, so they'll be firing towards my listening position. Now, if I angle this right above my head, it'll miss me just by a little bit because of the angle of the speaker. So I want to put them slightly behind me and point them downwards towards my head so that they sound like they're coming above me as intended. Let's go ahead and get these up on the ceiling. All right, we have both speakers up, and they are kind of almost perfect. This one was a little bit farther back than I wanted it to be, but it still flanks my seat just like I wanted, so I'll probably leave it for now. This is exactly what I was desiring. Now you're probably saying, wait, K-Pace guy, you said in the title it was a wireless Dolby Atmos system. Well, it will be. With this right here, I've had this for a while and I've done several videos on it. This is the Dynasty ProAudio wireless transmitter, and this thing is absolutely awesome. This has a built-in amplifier and a wireless transmitter inside so that you can power any speaker wirelessly that you want to. And so this is the receiver here. This is the part that plugs into the speakers. You see, you have some banana plug type terminals here. You can twist them and use bare wire. You have a subwoofer in and out. Of course, this needs power for that amplifier. And then you have a volume knob for it. So this is perfect. You can mount this against the wall. You can stand it up like I'm going to. And then the transmitter is in here with the rest of the equipment. So there's the other end to it. So that's plugged up to my Dolby Atmos in the rears right now. And that'll give power to my speakers in the ceiling. Now, these have 50 watt RMS amplifiers in there, so they're perfect for a Dolby Atmos application, or even like a satellite setup or a small bookshelf setup that doesn't need a lot of power. These do very good for that. So you could essentially power your entire 7.2.4 Dolby Atmos system wirelessly, including the subwoofer, since it has one subwoofer in and one subwoofer out on each transmitter. You can get several of these and place them around your room and power 2 speakers at once. It's amazing. I know that on their website they have some new ones out, I believe, but here's the actual model number to these right here, the WSA5RPs. I've done a full review of these, so if you want to check that out, I'll try to put that in the description box for you. But essentially, you can use this to power your entire entire system. So I'm gonna put this together, plug them up to those wires that are hanging from the ceiling up there, and then hide the transmitter up there on top of the projector. Should be cool. All right, everything is where it needs to be. Done a few changes, did some listening with the subwoofers and changed where I placed them. I got my big rhythmic GH25 HP in the front now instead of the Definitive Technology DN10 that's now in the back. It sounded a lot better back there. This one sounded a lot better back here. But anytime you add speakers or change anything, you want to go in and do calibration. So I have my room correction, my Anthem ARC room correction set up here. And how we use that is we go to our computer here. So we're gonna click on ARC Genesis. And we're gonna full screen that. Here we go. We're gonna launch ARC. It's gonna find my device, the AVM70. Here we go. Awesome. And now we can start with our configuration. Alright guys, so we have everything calibrated. That's kind of how you set up your Dolby Atmos system, at least how I like to do mine. I'm in an apartment, so I can't put too many things in the ceiling and don't want to cause too many problems with holes in the wall, stuff like that. So I'm reusing old spots, but this is how I like to put my system together. This is how I go about it, and it should sound good. If you're curious, if you're an ARC user, I'll pull up on screen what Anthem did for my settings, just in case you're curious. So as you can see here, that my levels, they set my front left speaker to 1.5, center 2.5, front right was 2, surround left -2, surround right +3. If we scroll down a little bit more, my back left -1.5, my back right at 0, height 1 at -1, height 2 at, let's see, +2, height 1 right, height right 2, +3, so on and so forth. My subwoofer is -2.5, which is the rhythmic in the front, and subwoofer 2 is the Definitive Technology one in the back at -6. You can see that this is what they set for my levels. And if you remember, Anthem had a hard time getting the levels right back in the day because they were way too high. This makes a lot more sense here. And then I believe we can see our crossovers that it chose. I didn't change any setting. This is what Anthem did. So it has my front crossover at 80. Has my center at 80. Let's see. Surround are at 110. My surround backs are at 80. And my height channel is at 110. My height 2 is at 110. Height 2 is the rear heights, my rear Dolby Atmos. And then it has my subwoofer at 150 hertz. That's my rhythmic, and then my Definitive Technology at 100 hertz. So that's what Anthem chose for my room here. I do have a curtain applied to my system on my front speaker, so it doesn't go too far. It doesn't calibrate past 500 hertz, but that's what Anthem has chose. I will go back in here and make adjustments as needed. So that's how I set up my wireless Dolby Atmos system. In the future, I'll probably go fully Dolby Atmos wireless. I'll probably get another one of those transmitters and go fully wireless. I think that's an awesome feature. And if anybody's out there using like a satellite system or something like that, it's even nice to have a wireless satellite setup too. Keep it really minimal and simplistic, and hide those cables and still get really good quality sound. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, are you running a Dolby Atmos system? If you are, how many Dolby speakers are you using? Are you using a 5.1.4, a 5.1.2, a 7.1.4? What is your Dolby Atmos configuration? Let us know that down below in the comment section. Hit that like button and subscribe if you are not already. We will see you guys in the next video. Keep Bass Guy out. Peace.